What is going on, Sabres fans? Welcome back to another episode of Sabres Spotlight, where we shine a light on everything Sabres hockey. Ryan, what's going on?
You know, this we're recording this episode right after the Sabres played one of the most boring games of the season, but came away with a 3-2 overtime win. But dude, I feel like this week I have been just channeling my inner nerd. Like I'm just like so into video games right now. It's so fucking nerdy and lame. But hey, that's just who I am, and I'm gonna become a Final Fantasy guy. Like I've decided I'm gonna buy a couple Final Fantasy games and play those because they look sweet. So I'm just nerding out over here. I'm taking all my time that I have while my wife goes to bed at 9 o'clock and just nerding out.
Wait, did
What's
you
up
say
with
there's
you?
a? Did you say that cut out for a second? Did you say there's a new one coming out?
Well, there was like so seven got remade a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and instead of one game they split it into three parts, and the second part of the remake came out like yesterday or today. So now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go buy the remake and I'm gonna play that, and then I'll buy this. I'm just like, I don't know, it looks cool, so I'm gonna play it.
Well, it's funny you say that because there's I play Clash of Clans, and I saw an ad for it today.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're doing like something with Final Fantasy or not, but their like YouTube channel was like promoting like some of like the characters in the game, and it had a whole
yeah,
thing about like Final Fantasy. So I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But I never really played any of those games growing up.
dude, I never did either, and I got so many of my friends that my friends are just like, dude, just like those games. I mean, there's like 16 of them, but they're all
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
separate stories. They're all separate stories. Like they don't like go together. So really, you could pick up like any one. And now that like they're being remade and stuff for like PS5 graphics and stuff, I'm like, all right, I'll fucking buy one. I'll just play it. Who cares? It's fun.
You know what I just thought of now when you said there's like 16 of them? Is there, and maybe there is, but like, how is there not like games for like every Fast and the Furious movie?
Well, I don't know, dude. Honestly, I think this is so funny because I think racing games are so fucking boring. I think they're boring.
Wait,
Like I used to play Midnight Club and shit back in the day. Like that was cool, but
dude, Midnight Club was, that's what I was just gonna say.
I don't know. I don't think I could play a racing game now. I just find it so boring.
Dude, yeah, I think it was for GameCube. Maybe it was PlayStation though, but Midnight Club Dub Edition Remix 3, that was the fucking
Oh.
game, dude.
Yeah, that is like that had the sickest soundtrack too. I remember that game. That game was sick.
That was definitely the game. That was definitely the game. But no, that's cool. Yeah, so me and Katie, we started this new thing, and I think I was telling. Well, I didn't tell you about it, but I think I mentioned on the show before that I'm trying to like really solidify like my bed routine. So like we were doing this new thing. We've been doing it now for like a week, pretty consistently. So it's become like part of a routine, which is nice. But we go so like probably like 15 minutes before we go to sleep, we've just been like laying on the floor. I put on like some nice soothing yoga music, right? So we're just like laying on the
What?
floor.
What?
Tell you, dude, we do 4 minutes of breathing, just deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, right? Just kind of letting it all go.
Are you
We follow,
serious?
I swear to God. So we do 4 minutes, right? 4 minutes. Follow that up with some stretching, right? So I'm teaching her how to stretch me out. I stretch her out. So we
Okay.
do a
This is
little bit.
okay. I fuck with this. I fuck with this because
Yeah.
I'm notoriously not flexible. So tell me more.
So we've been doing some stretch, some leg stretches. We do like some back. I mean, doing what I do, I know I'm kind of teaching her some stuff. So we do like some back compressions. We're doing like a whole bunch of stuff, right? So, but it's so again, 4 minutes of breathing, right? Just kind of chill mode, relax, shut the mind down, a little bit of stretching after, and then we're do what I made this up, call this the thoughtful three, right? So the thoughtful three is three questions, and it's like a self reflection thing. So we talk about one thing we did good during the day, one thing we could do better, and then our goal for the next day. And we just chat about
Dude,
that for like 5, 10 minutes.
you sound like every TikTok influencer right now.
Dude, it's great. So you know what the funniest thing about this was? So we've been doing this now. Like I said, we do now for like a week. I think it was like Tuesday. It's a couple days ago. I'm coming home from work, and I texted Katie as I'm getting ready to leave. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving now. We'll get the kids down. I'm like, I'm pretty pumped to do our bedtime routine. She goes, yeah, dude, so am I.
That's so funny. I
So
thought
it's become a thing.
I thought you were gonna say when you put the kids down and you'd be like, "All right, babe, let's see how flexible you've gotten with these new stretches."
No, I need the flexibility for sure. I am just like I have zero flexibility for doing physical
Yeah,
therapy. I do not practice what I preach.
that's so funny, dude.
But all right, that's pretty much all I got. Let's get into some around the league stuff because there is a lot going on around the league. I guess we'll kick it off with Patrick Kane and his return to Chicago. So that was kind of an interesting game. The NHL script writers were out as Kane scores the overtime goal on Chris Chelios' jersey retirement night. Kind of cool to see, and I want to say, wasn't didn't like the Chicago fans like cheer when he scored the goal, even though they just lost at home?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think they really did, but it is kind of cool, honestly. Just like the fact that it happened on Chelios night, like, dude, Chelios was like an unbelievable Blackhawk and an unbelievable Red Wing. So it worked out in the weirdest way. Like, and he left when he left the Blackhawks in like the 2000s. Um, there was like bad blood there. Like it wasn't great. And then for him to finally come back and like get his jersey retired there, especially on that night, is just like you said, dude. The fucking script writers were like like salivating for this moment. And once he got the puck in overtime, like for the breakaway, you just knew he was burying. Like he's been really good for them, and it's like insane how good he's
Yeah,
been.
he's been good.
So it's so good for them. I mean, fuck the Red Wings. I can't stand them, but hey, that's pretty fun and really good night in hockey when things like that happen. And it's just like all the stories I've ever heard about Chris Chelios, he's like the man. Like I was listening to, I forget where I heard this from. I forget what podcast I was listening to, but like like they had a dinner beforehand, like over the weekend
Yeah.
to celebrate, and he at like some massive steakhouse, he footed the bill for like all his entourage, and like, there were a bunch of famous people there, and the bill was like $400,000
Oh my
at this
god.
restaurant, and he was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll just like what a guy, like what a guy. Come celebrate my night, and I'll just pay for your, you know, quarter to $500,000 meal." That's
That
awesome.
is that is insane. That is insane. As far as like the Red Wings go, because he has been really good for them, but their whole team has just been like shooting lights out. So I still don't know about them. Like the thing is, like you said, it's kind of shitty because they've been playing really good. Like I think they just lost the other night, but they're
They
7-3
lost
in their
tonight too.
last 10. Yeah, so they
They
lost
lost
tonight,
tonight.
I guess, and they or was this their game that broke the streak? Because they were on a win 6, I know, but um,
I'm not sure, but they lost
yeah,
5-3
yeah.
to nothing.
So they lost to the Islanders tonight, and then but they had won 6 before that, so they're like kind of solidified in that wild card one spot right now. But again, they've been shooting lights out, and their schedule is getting tough coming up. So I don't know. I have a feeling that they could kind of come back down a little bit here. So I mean, that remains to be seen. I'd love to see it, but yeah, Kane's been doing good, but ultimately, screw the Red Wings. Hopefully, they miss out on the
And
playoffs.
I gotta get this off my chest. I've seen so many people on social media be like, "Oh, it would have been nice if the fucking Sabres signed Kane. Oh, fuck all these. If you were a Sabres fan that didn't want Kane here, you're an idiot." Blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Yeah, yeah,
Because there was no way to determine that a 35-year-old man coming off hip surgery that ended four other careers would lead to him playing the best hockey he's played in like the last 2 or 3 seasons. Like he's been great and like good for him, but like it was unpredictable. And if you don't think the Sabres tried to sign him, you're a fool. Like of course they tried to. He just picked Detroit. And that's
yeah,
on him. If anything, you should be like, fuck this guy. He chose to go to Detroit over coming back home and helping his hometown team break a playoff drought. So I don't know. I don't know where these people are coming from, where they're like getting their rocks off, like coming at other Sabres fans. Like he picked the other team. Like fuck that guy.
yeah. No, I'm with you, man. Like he was never coming here. I don't know if he's ever wanted to play here. Like when you go to Chicago and he had all the success he had, and then you've just seen the turmoil that the Sabres have been through for the last like 13 seasons. Like, why on earth would you want, just like any free agent, why on earth would you want to come to Buffalo right now? Like, it's just not. You're either going to have to acquire players via trade, which is on Adams, or just overpay for somebody and hope it works out. But I don't know. It's a tough situation that the Sabres are in with that. But yeah, screw Patrick Kane. Like I said, he chose that he didn't want to come here, but perhaps an even bigger name right now in the hockey world, and definitely a bigger man. let's let's talk about Matt Rempe for a little bit. And this is it's an interesting thing because like as much as I like to see it, when I see it every night at some point now, I'm just like, this guy has to stop fighting. He's not going to remember his rookie I remember tweeting that. I'm like, this guy's not going to remember his rookie season because he's just taking too many shots to the dome piece on a night in, night out basis. I just don't understand what's going on.
Well, dude, like I like looked up his other fight videos, and he was fighting like a lot in junior, obviously, and then he was fighting in the AHL too. So he's no stranger to fighting. Like he is clearly like a modern day tough guy, and he can actually like kind of play a little bit. Like I watched a little bit of the Rangers' last few games, and while he wasn't like amazing, he did get a goal. Like he's been okay. Like not like a fucking plug out there. So that's pretty cool that he can actually play. And his fights though are just like they're so awesome, but they're also so scary at the same time. Like he's got to learn to protect himself. Like I was
Yeah, yeah,
listening to a bunch of fighters, and they're like, you got to like learn where you're grabbing, because if
yeah,
he's not grabbing correctly, the other guy's arm is free, and they're just pounding this kid. Like he's only 21 years old, so he might be 6'8", but he's not like strong yet. So these guys are just gonna like, especially like Nick Delorier. Like that fight was fucking heavyweight fight, and I mean, they were both pummeling each other, and it's cool, it's awesome. Like I love that stuff, and I think fighting has a place in the game for sure. I don't ever want to see it be gone from hockey, but like someone's got to tell this kid like, hey, you don't actually have to go every night. You have proven yourself. But if on his behalf though, like if he's gonna get challenged and he doesn't want to say no, that's kind of on him.
yeah, yeah. It is. It is funny how he's already got a reputation around the league, and he's been in the league for like 4 games. I
Like
remember
2 weeks.
I remember seeing tweets. I think it was after the Stadium Series game with the Devils. He like sucker punched someone from behind and got in the fight, and people were just saying like, "This guy's a savage." It
Yeah,
was so
dude.
funny,
But
but
he's
it's
like the nicest guy too. I've listened to his interviews. He sounds like a gentle giant. And he's got a great his backstory is kind of interesting. I think his dad passed away a couple years ago, so him and his sister are like really close, like as a you know two young siblings, and like that's his support system. And it's just like he's a great story. But I want this kid to have a long NHL career. I don't want him like you know having a 2 year career. And we've seen like other enforcers that have taken like a ton of shots to the head like over their career, and you know in their lives like not have a great way of life, or like ending prematurely. And I want to see this kid have a long career. I guess that's what I'm saying.
doesn't it seem a bit weird though that it's like he's this 21-year-old kid and he's like defending like the honor of the other guys. It just seems weird to me that that's the thing. Like, hey, kid, come up. And I know he's fighting because he wants to and whatnot, but it just like that concept seems so weird. I'm like, why aren't these other guys fighting? I know they don't have fighters, but like still,
Dude, I mean, he's got to be like the most popular guy in the room right now, because like if he like builds up his man strength, and like people actually get scared of him, you touch me because Zabinajad, and this guy's gonna come over the boards and cave your face in.
yeah,
So
it is
it
nice. It is good.
it's old school. It's old school, and I love it, and I want him to have a long career.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, let's move on to some exciting news from the PWHL. This was just put out this week. So they did mention that there will be no expansion coming for next season. It's going to stay at I believe it's 6 teams right now that are
It's
in
four. I think yeah, it's six. You're right. It's six.
it's 6 total teams, but the playoff format was announced, and it's going to be the top 4 teams that qualify for that. Kind of interesting. So the top overall seed will get to pick who they want to play, so they can pick either the 3 seed or the 4 seed. So I kind of like that because it introduces like, oh, like this team wanted to play us, like they think they match up a little better against me. Like that's kind of cool to just add a little bit to the first round. And so it'll be 2 5-game series. So that's how the playoffs are going to work. And then, actually, you want to comment on that before we get into the draft stuff?
Dude, I think that rule is so sick. Like I've wanted kind of like to try to introduce that rule into our fantasy football league, because like that is so cool. Top seeds after the bye, like after the top two get a bye, I wanted to be like you can choose like who you play. Like that'd be so sick, you know. I love that this league is doing like out of the box things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it introduces rivalries into it. As far as the draft stuff goes, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm kind of interested
Okay.
to see what you think because, like, so the bottom two teams, essentially, the way it's written is the bottom two teams will accumulate draft points when they get eliminated, and then
Yep.
the most points will get the top pick. But I guess my question here is like, so this obviously won't start until both teams have been eliminated because if one team gets eliminated way before
Well, that's the
the,
point. That's
yeah,
the
but
point.
okay, so say team 1 gets eliminated and they have 12 games left, team 2 gets eliminated and they have 10 games left. I mean, I assume they're just going to be like, okay, well, the next two games don't count or something. It's from
No, they
your
will. They will. So this has been introduced like the people have been wanting this to be introduced in the NHL probably for at least 10 years now. And it's called gold drafting. If you want to look, I don't know who made it up, but if you want to look up gold drafting at some point and read about it. So the premise is that once you are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, all of your wins go towards accumulating draft points, like you explained. So, like, let's say so Chicago, the Blackhawks have been eliminated from playoff contention mathematically for probably like, a couple weeks now. Like from then on, they would just be accumulating draft points with each win. So essentially it's just like getting rid of tanking basically. So like
I
let's
guess that makes
say
sense.
in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks the
But
Sabres
why
are
couldn't you
eliminated
just
from playoff
tank like you
contention
would still tank in the you could still tank like in those middle games be
in
like,
the
okay, we got to
beginning.
get to our draft. We got to start accumulating these draft points. So
Yeah, but
let's
no
get
one
there
would do
first.
that. That's the thing.
Why not?
No player would be like, we're gonna lose the first 35 games of the season and then win a shitload. Like no
Well,
one would do that.
they probably thought teams would never tank either, and now that's a thing. So the teams would
But
just find another
I
way to do it.
I like this rule for a league like the PWHL that's trying new things. I would fucking hate this in the NHL. Like I like my traditional, there's gonna be tanking. It's pro sports. Like tanking is totally fine in my opinion. If you want to tank, you tank. If you want to ice a shit team and get the first or second overall pick, you go ahead and do that. Like that's your prerogative. There's really no reason to change things in the NHL. I just think it's like an interesting little wrinkle here.
All right, but let me ask you this real fast as far as the NHL goes. So, okay, so say Chicago just gets eliminated because they're probably not eliminated yet. I would think, right? Maybe they
I
are.
mean, dude, they might be honestly. They're
They might
so
be.
bad.
Okay, but let's just draw a theoretical here. Say they're not eliminated yet, but they get eliminated in like a week, right?
Yeah.
Where the Sabres are at now, like if they lose the next two games and they know their season's done, you don't think they'd be like, you know what? We should try and get eliminated as soon as possible so we can try and catch
There's
Chicago. Like we're a
I
better
don't
team than them. We can win more games. I just don't see that fixing the whole tank thing. And again, it's not like
like
it's a big deal. I don't need tanking fixed anyways, but it seems weird
I
to
know
me.
like the way I think about it. Like so, let's say Chicago is eliminated, and then like whoever's in fourth last gets eliminated like a week and a half later. If they win more games, they'd get the first pick, and because Chicago can't win that many games, so it would just be like it's Chicago's fault for sucking huge ass, basically.
Yeah, I
I don't know.
guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. I wouldn't want it to be in the NHL, like I said, but hey,
Yeah, if I'm being
they're
honest,
trying new
it's
things.
and if I'm being honest, it seems like one of those things to me where like I don't like the way it sounds, but like I'm gonna kind of love like the way it works out. So we'll
Like
kind of
imagine,
see.
okay, let's say imagine the Sabres, last day of the season. If they win that game, they get the first overall pick because they accumulated X amount of points. Like you'd be rooting your dick off for them to
Oh
win that
yeah,
game, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So it really just it eliminates the need for like I'm rooting for losses. Like I'm rooting for my own team to lose.
dude.
Like
Yeah, imagine like San Jose versus Chicago, the last game of the season, and whoever wins gets Macklin celebrating. Like that would be pretty sick.
yeah, right, exactly. And like you're rooting for the team to win. It's not
Right.
like when the
Yeah.
Sabres were getting scored on by Jonathan Taves in the third period against the Chicago Blackhawks in 2015 and the whole fucking crowd is cheering on Jonathan Taves scoring on us. Like, that's it's not or were you ever did you go to the Arizona game where Arizona beat us in overtime and everyone cheered at home?
Yeah. No, I
And then
wasn't there.
And then I think it was either it was Mike Weber and he was like this is fucking bullshit afterwards. He's like, we got our own fans cheering for other teams' goals.
I only go to the blowouts where we where we chant "fire our coach" chants.
Oh my God.
But the PWHL is doing some cool shit. I'm curious to see like if Buffalo would ever get a team. Like I would totally go to
Oh,
PWHL.
dude, I mean, we had the fucking Buttes, and then they started this new league, and the Buttes got dissolved. You would think that Buffalo would get a women's hockey team eventually. I mean, there's only 6 teams in this league, so once they do expand, I would assume that they'll expand to U.S. cities, and we'll for sure get one.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going to go through these next 2 points pretty quick here so we can get to the Sabres talk. Don't need to elaborate too much on the Arizona Coyotes, but they're on
Oh
a
my
loss
God.
13, 0, 11, and 2 in their last 13 games. And then Chris Tanev, so one of the dominoes falls in the trade market as we get closer. I think we're about 9 days away now. It's on March 8th. But Chris Tanev traded to Dallas. You were saying earlier there was some speculation, or maybe it was confirmed that the Sabres did have a deal in place for it. Obviously, or at least they sent a deal over to Dallas, but it didn't end up getting accepted. Tanev chose Dallas to waive his no trade, and he goes there from the Flames. So, um, anything you want to
Yeah,
elaborate on
dude,
there?
I like Chris Tanev. I like Chris Tanev a lot. I mean, he's an older guy, older, steady right hand shot. I feel like he also went to RIT, and that's kind of cool.
Hmm.
So if we can sign him in the offseason, people would probably like not like casuals would be like, oh good, the Sabres are signing like another old Eric Johnson type defenseman, where it's like it's completely opposite. Like this guy's defensive metrics are like the best in the league, like time after time after time. He is just a good defensive defenseman. And when's the last time we had a guy that just was good at defense, like just was a rock?
Yeah,
So it's good for Dallas. I think that's a great place for him, and he can go chase a cup. And I guess with LeBron's report, I guess you can't say that Kevin Adams wasn't trying, and that's
right.
kind of frustrating for me, honestly,
Yeah.
because you only get so much credit for trying. At some point, you gotta like put things over the line here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, it's like, what's the offer? Like, trying is one thing, but like, if you're still saying like,
Got
oh,
that
you're
no
not
trade,
getting
man.
this,
It's got that
well,
fucking
yeah,
no trade.
well, yeah, sure, yeah, he would have had to waive it, but like, also, I just because we haven't seen it, I also question like, what is it? What is Adams really laying on the line there? You know, like if you're setting some bullshit off, it's like those trade offers you get in fantasy football. Like, come on, I'm not accepting this, dude. Like, get the hell out of here, type stuff. You know,
Right.
so I don't know, but real quick before we go on, I just wanted to say like because the Flames retained 50% of his salary, and then the Devils retained 50% of his salary. So that means
Yep.
that Dallas really doesn't take like they're not paying him at all. Obviously, they're paying to get him with the what they traded, but like they don't get a cap hit, right?
Yeah, they do. So the way it works is so when three-team trades like this happen, technically Tanev was traded to Dallas first at a 50% retention, and then traded to no, traded my bad. Traded to New Jersey first at 50%, and then New Jersey trades him to Dallas at another 50%. So Dallas is paying him 25% of his salary.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's not the full 100%. It's
I was gonna say
50%
they
of
gotta pay
50%.
something. Yeah,
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 it's
okay.
25%. So he's gonna get a game. He's gonna get a paycheck from 3 teams. That's fucking funny.
All right, well, let's get into the Sabres here because this is one of the few shows this year that we actually can feel a little good, a little positive about it. Again, the win tonight against Tampa Bay, it wasn't pretty. I don't even really think they played that good of a game. I thought for sure they were going to lose, but you end up getting the win. Sure, you wish it was not in overtime because you really only gained 1 point on them, but still, a win is a win. And so 6 wins in their last 8 games. And since we recorded last week, we've had 4 games and they've won 3 of them. So they're on a nice little, nice little streak here. The streak officially ended at 3 after the Carolina win at home, which was a pretty sick game. They lose to Florida, but the Sabres are they're playing better as of late. UPL is continuing to build them out because we're really not generating offense. We're really not scoring a lot of goals, but UPL just continues to dominate between the pipes. But just before we get into some of the discussion points, what are any thoughts from just like the last week on kind of how things are trending and what you're seeing from the Sabres?
Dude, all I gotta say is UPL is so good. It is insane his turnaround over the last like 6 months. Like he had that little spurt last year in January where he looked great and then kind of like regressed back into like old UPL. But this UPL just looks different. Like he's confident. He's challenging shooters. He doesn't play small anymore. And this isn't just like a little run here. Like this is like actually him. Like I think he's good, man. I really do. And besides that, the Sabres are fucking boring to watch. I'm sorry, but they just are.
Well, they showed some stats. I think it was before the game today, or it was during the game. But UPL's last 16 starts, 1.88 goals against and a 931 save percentage. Like that's pretty insane.
That's insane,
And
man.
yeah, so in this season he's played in 35 games. He has a 2.47 goals against, which is 7th in the NHL, and a 914 save percentage, which is tied for 8th in the NHL. So
That's
literally top
crazy.
10 statistics, right?
Never would have thought. I never would have thought that would happen for him.
Yeah, I mean he's playing lights out, and it sucks that we haven't been able to. I mean, literally, and just any more offense probably could have won 3 or 4 more games, just even in the last like month alone, and been a little bit closer to striking distance, and it's man, it's just so frustrating because there's been a lot of games that we have wasted, and even these games that we've won recently. I mean, 2-1, 3-2 in a shootout, 3-2 we lose at Florida, 3-2 again in overtime. It's like this team lately. It's like the offense is just it's so dry, and you're scoring 1 to 2 goals in regulation. That's just not going to get it done most nights.
I don't know what happened, man. I mean, like we said, they changed their style earlier in the season, and they were kind of like getting back to playing offense again, and now they're just like kind of not. They're just so boring, bro. They don't really do much offensively, like ever. Their big guns don't do much. Skinner barely gets to the danger areas. Tage looks like he's, a little bit back finally. Jesus Christ. Tuck is playing well, but like they don't get to the danger areas. They've chosen to be a team that fires shots from the outside, and
Well, look at the two goals
that's
tonight. I
boring.
mean, the first goal tonight against Tampa Bay is pretty much a giveaway from Tampa Bay right in front of the net. Tux just scoops it up and scores. It's not like we
Yep.
generated an offensive play there. And then the other one was just Tage coming down the side, and it was a nice shot, a nice goal, and got somewhat of a screen from Skinner too. But you're not seeing the pretty plays from before. You're not seeing the confidence with the puck. It's just the goals that are going in are just they're just again kind of basic things, and I guess that's good to some degree, but it's only going to get you so much. You're going to have these low scoring games when it comes to that. We've talked before about the power play stats, and I don't want to keep harping on that, but I just decided to do a little bit more research like before the show. So I got some numbers for you. I want to get
All
like
right.
a reaction from you here in the pod, because the reason I looked this up is because I just kind of wanted to see, and we can get to the refing in a little bit, but I kind of want
Oh my.
to. I wanted to see like how many opportunities we actually had, like compared to the league. Like because I'm thinking we have to be in the bottom percentage as far as like actual power play opportunities. And they're 25th in the NHL with 171 power play opportunities, 28th in the NHL with 26 power play goals. So that's a 15.2 percentage, which is 27th in the NHL. And as far as the overall offense goes, they're 24th in the NHL right now at 2.88 goals a game, and 27th in the NHL with a 9.09 shooting percentage. So it's just like, again, it just kind of summarizes like the season that it's been so far. Just really, really tough generating offense, getting pucks into the back of the net, and you see it on a night in, night out basis. It just seems like such hard work for these guys to get the puck in the net.
Yeah, not even on the power play, but lately a 5-on-5 as well. So it's very frustrating. And the power play has been the same for the last, how many months of the season are we in now? How many months have we gone through? 5? It's just like the same thing over and over again. Like nothing really changes.
I mean, to be honest, I think it's more of a testament to UPL and the way that he's played, because it's not like he's playing with these big leads. He's literally playing under pressure, and not that goalies, like when they get leads, they take plays off or they take time off or anything. But I mean, he's consistently playing tight games where like every goal could be like a losing goal for the other team or a winning goal for the other team, and it hasn't phased him at all. He's just been lights out. So I have to give him even more credit for just again playing in all these close games and just showing up for the team on a nightly basis. It's been great.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's been that aspect has been the lone bright spot I think this year.
I mean, it got to the point where I actually forgot who the backup was because I haven't seen him in so long. I mean, obviously it's
Well,
Connery,
it's
but
because we don't have back to backs like ever. So why bother? Why not play him? I mean, this actually today was the first time I've seen that they called up Tokarski from the AHL,
yeah, I saw
and
that.
they didn't even let UPL get reps in practice. Like why bother like making him get dressed? Like why just let him rest?
Yeah,
He's gonna play.
yeah, yeah. He's on a heater, and I know that gives the team some confidence, playing in front of him. But again, you just wish they could put the puck in the net a little bit more. Let's get transition a little bit away from the product on the ice here. Some interesting news came out earlier this week. Get your thoughts on the plans for the stadium next season. And the Sabres announced the new video board is coming in the 24-25 season, which is next year. It's going to be 27 by 33 feet, so roughly double the size of the current board. And it was funny. I don't know if you listened to Sabres Live, but they were talking about the dimensions, and Marty, they interviewed one of the guys, like, I think like the COO of the Sabres, and they were making jokes about how it was like Levi by Baran, like as far as like the size goes, the
Oh my
27 by
god.
33. Said it,
Oh my god.
they said it was like a goalie board. It was actually kind of funny. And then Marty was like, "Oh, and there's only one of them, which was like UPL." So it was just kind of funny how they put that all together. But 27 by 43 feet, which is roughly
That's so
double the
corny.
current board. Yeah, and fully functional corner panels, which actually looks pretty sweet on the renderings, and then two TVs underneath to hit the lower bowls. So plans for the new video board next season, and then a new roof as well. So some additions
That's
coming to KeyBank.
oh my god, dude. This is so funny. Announcing that the roof is being done is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like you don't have to announce that you're doing the roof, bro. Just do the roof. It's not a
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah, but I was telling you before we even recorded that like I'm more excited about that than the actual video board. The roof looks horrible.
I know.
Like that
If you
needed
like
to be done.
it does. It looks like shit, but still, like, dude, there's way more things we got need to do. I want to sit in the 300 level with a fucking cup holder. I want to sit in the 100 level where my armrest isn't falling off. Like, you got some work to do here, buddy. Like, let's get like, congrats on your new video board and your new roof, but this better not be the end because there's so much work to do. And I figured that this might be like the start of it, and they'll gradually announce like more improvements over the like next couple months and like through the summer. But I'm sorry, but Pagula gets no leeway from me. He gets nothing. You got to do this. You got to try to make the fan experience like much better. Like I know the team like obviously winning like cures all and all that, but you walk into the fucking arena and it's a shithole. Like
Yeah,
I want it to get to a point where like it's still a shithole, but it's like a classy shithole. Like it
yeah,
what do people say when
with like a
something
nice
is like
bidet and stuff.
I I mean, I guess what's the word and I'm going to get it tomorrow from someone. What's the word where like if something is old but like it has charm is what I'm looking for. I want like opposing fans to be like that building has charm, you know?
Okay,
Right now it's
I
just
think
like
I like that word right there. Charm
it
is good.
just it just like it's there's nothing redeeming about it right now. I mean, they should do like new paint and shit. Like it should have like features, not just be a place you go and spend $25 on nachos and watch the home team lose.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what this when I read it, I mean, I was excited about it, but the pessimist in me immediately just said, "Okay, well, you know what's coming next? The announcement that season tickets are going up for next
Okay,
year."
well they did. They went up 8%.
Oh, okay. Did they just announce that?
It was like a little blurb, but yeah, they went up like 6 to 8% in some areas. But I know like the league, to be fair to Pagula, like the league mandates that it goes up a certain percentage every year. But
Yeah.
it is still funny to be like, here's our new improvements, and then hey, your tickets are going up $150 a piece.
Yeah, yeah, soften the blow a little bit, but I mean, if you rationalize it like that, then like whatever. I guess there would be outrage given the where they are this year.
Just
And
you know what? People wouldn't even be mad if they just won some fucking hockey games at home. Like whatever,
oh
you
my
know?
gosh, I know. I actually tweeted today, which I thought was a pretty good tweet. Which, by the way, if you're listening to this show and you don't follow the podcast account, go find it because I feel like
Oh, Matt Rip's on there.
I'm
He pops
rifling
off.
off some pretty good tweets, and it's like I feel like if we had a good following, so many of these tweets would just like blow up. But it's just like it's just still like a small like account. I'm like
Yeah,
I'm propping myself up right now, but I got some good tweets. So, but anyways, the one today was like I think it was like in the second period, and there was some Luke chance, like he made a save, and you could like the Sabres fans in Tampa tonight were pretty loud. It was kind of nice to
yeah,
hear,
they
but you
were.
hear like
I mean,
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, but you heard like the Luke when he made a couple big saves, and then when they scored, you heard the goal, and I was like, I tweeted, I was like, the Sabres fans in Tampa Bay better be quiet right now. We don't want the players thinking it's a home game. I was like, come on, that's a
Oh my god,
all right.
dude,
But
you want to hear a fucked up quote from Granato? I just got curious. I wanted to see what he was saying after the game.
oh, all right, yeah, you know I'm always in for that.
So Darlene on the game winning goal. The play was drawn up by Matt Ellis. I can't take credit for that one. All I had to do
Oh
was tap
God,
it in.
oh God, here we go. The Matt
And
Ellis
then,
props.
okay, I was going crazy that Peyton Krebs played one shift in third period and zero shifts in overtime. Don Granato said Peyton Krebs played one shift in the third period because we decided to shorten the bench to use the guys who were going. Peyton Krebs was
Oh
your
my God,
best player through two periods, you fucking joke. I can't stand this guy. I hate him.
he's so bad.
I
He's
hate
so
him.
bad. I mean,
Like, cool. He
how many
benched
times is
Skinner.
he gonna force this Skinner Thompson tuck line? Like it's just
Right.
not working right now.
He finally benched Skinner, who has deserved a benching for probably 2 months. And
Yeah.
like, good on you, but and then we won the game, so I can't be that mad. But not recognizing how good Peyton Krebs was playing specifically just goes to show that like you're not watching the right thing to me.
Oh, like you have to. The my biggest problem with the lineups right now is like, again, he's switching things around so much, which is to me like, okay, well you're not getting things right, but also like you wouldn't need to switch them around so much during the game if you just got it right initially. Like, just why are you moving Krebs? Like, why is he moving down the line? He's been playing really good, and you give him what, a few games, and then he just goes back down. And then again, this Skinner Thompson tuck line, like I know you're looking for maybe some consistency to get them going, but like it's just not happening. And Skinner provides you nothing other than being able to score when the opportunity presents itself. Sure, but there's been so much jumbling of the lines. It's just crazy. I mean, and yeah, he's again tonight with like Krebs playing a little bit, and then his whole explosion the other night, which we can get into in a second, which I kind of like seeing from him, but it's just like time and place type of thing, and then everything with like the pulled goalies. It's just a disaster.
I know he's not good at like almost anything anymore. Like, what is he providing? Like, what is he teaching these guys? I'm not like cool. You guys can play defense now, but it's coming at the expense of offense.
Well, you texted me a couple days ago, or actually, maybe I think it was just today, actually, about the Lance article. Did you read the Lance article? Because you
A
said it's
little
kind
bit,
of like
yeah,
it sounds like the locker room's a little bit divided from that.
yeah.
Is that about Don? Is that about like direction of the franchise? Like, what were you thinking with that
Well,
piece?
it was mostly just like these are the pieces the Sabres can trade, and then and then it like had a bunch of little quotes in there from like those players and stuff. And the one that caught me because the one that I sent that text to you because Oposo said like, oh my god, I wonder if I can find it, but it was like it was something like it is what it is. Like on wanting to be traded or like being traded, he was just like, it is what it is, and I'm just like, well, dude, if your captain is saying like it is what it is, like
Yeah.
how checked out can your team possibly be? Like that's not a great sign for like your room leadership, and that might not even be necessarily on the coaching staff and more of like what type of players like as personalities that they have in the room.
Yeah, I'm not like I don't know. I don't. It's hard to speculate because we're not in the locker room, but like I don't. At least on the ice, when things are going wrong or when there's like questionable calls and like your captain has to do what he has to do, like I just don't like get that from Oposo. And maybe he's doing more in the room. Obviously, the guys love him. Obviously, they've said that, but it just. I mean, we've said it so many times this year. It just feels like a year that you needed more from your leaderships, clearly from your head coach and clearly from your veteran players. And EJ's, I'm sure, 1 foot out the door already. He's just begging for a trade. And he got benched the other night because he was so bad. He's on the ice every single time the opponent's scoring. And then maybe they just don't want him to get hurt for any trade. He'll probably go to another team and be fine because they'll actually care a little bit more. I don't know. He recently said too how he feels like he failed the team. It's like okay, like I don't
Yeah, you
want to
kind
hear
of
that.
did
I
though.
know
You
that.
kind of you kind of did. So
Yeah,
see,
absolutely he
I'm
did.
ready to
Yeah, like whatever.
honestly, I'm like just get ready to go learn Arizona, buddy. Like get ready to go learn some other city.
That'd be great if they traded him to just like an even worse team.
Just
That would
trade
be
them.
so funny.
Trade all these guys. Don't even trade them to playoff teams. Just trade them to the other shit teams around the league.
You think
You
it's
know?
bad here? Here, go,
Yeah,
go
fuck you.
experience it here. Go play in front of your 2,500 fans in Mullet
Yeah.
Arena.
Well, at least they could like at least they're living in they'd be living in Arizona. That's a great place, dude. So our old friend Ilya Labushkin just got traded.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he's going
Where did he
back to
get?
Toronto,
Where did he
baby.
get traded to?
Going back to Toronto.
Toronto. Oh, okay. All
Yep.
right.
That's so funny, dude. He's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was with Anaheim, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
he was with Toronto before that. So like they're doing that again. They're doing the Labushkin thing again. It's so funny, man. He was not good, and that was their alternative to Tanev. Like Toronto was in on Tanev, and he's like 150 times the player. So
Yeah.
oh my god, like poor Toronto. I feel like that team is they're gonna score a ton of goals in the playoffs, but that's a playoff team that I think is like a house of cards.
Well, that's a team that just the I imagine they don't have like a ton of prospects because they've traded so many of their picks and they don't have picks either. So it's kind of like a lot of pressure on the team right now to get it done within the next few years while you have their core together because if not, I mean, it could be tough sledding for a little bit there just because they've used a lot of resources to get what they have now. But yeah,
Especially in a year where Matthews is gonna hit 70 goals.
yeah. Did he score tonight?
I'm not sure, actually. I want to know. I'm gonna look.
Yeah.
But if he did, I
Yeah.
mean, that'd be incredible.
Well,
Scoring
I
again.
wanted. Do you want to mention? We should probably mention Darlene and his ice time lately, right? Because he's
Did
just
he
been
play? Dude, he played another 27 minutes tonight.
tonight 27.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, he's just
Isn't it
been playing
fucked up?
so much.
Dude, it's not good for him. Like, it's not. But that's also an indictment on the roster.
The one thing about him though that I feel like makes it a little bit just besides the fact that he's not young, but he is. I mean, he is young, but how old is he now? Because he's been with us for like 6 years now. But he's still
22-ish?
is he
22.
really
I
that
think he's
young
only
still?
22, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I knew he was young, but okay. So like, but the other thing is like, aside from him being still young, it's he just his skating somewhat effortless, right? So I feel like he can conserve energy for those games more than others. There's not many times where I see him like bent over and like I never question his effort. He's always busting his ass and yeah, he had a ton of time tonight. But yeah, he's just been playing a bunch. Yeah, he's 23. That's crazy. How old was he when he was drafted then? Like 16, 17,
18. 18. 18.
18?
It's only been, dude, it's only been 6 years, man.
Yeah, but still, I mean, even like I guess yeah, that's crazy though. Yeah.
And he's not even in his prime. Like, defensemen are in their prime at like 25, 26. So
Yeah. Yeah,
he's going to be
2018,
scary soon.
2019. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't even say that. I shouldn't even say that. He already is scary. Like if we had a team that put the puck in the net, he'd be in the Norris conversation.
Yeah, yeah, he's got 44 points, well 46 points now this year, 15 and 31, and yeah, you could easily have more, especially if he had somewhat of a competent power play. I mean, he runs a power play like so great. So does Power, by the way. Like I feel like Power's learning a lot from Darlene, obviously, but I watch Power run the power play too on when PP2's out there, and he's doing what Darlene does. It's nice
Yeah,
to
he's
have both of
certainly
those
not the
guys.
problem on the power play. It's just the power play setup is so dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's been playing just a shit ton of minutes, and part of that's probably because Johnson being out and the injuries with Samuelson and all that, and Bryson. I don't think he's logging like a ton of minutes, but Bryson hasn't been the problem. I thought he looked pretty shitty tonight, though, honestly, against Tampa Bay. But he's been playing fine. But all right, anything else here, Sabres wise, you want to talk about?
No, I'm good. I feel like we just like flew through this content. I'm kind of like I'm loving it because I'm so goddamn exhausted. So this is like an amazing pace that we're on.
I
Usually I
know.
like that usually I like that we sit here and we fucking chat for an hour and a half, but I'm like, "Oh, we are just like cooking tonight." I love it.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with a shorter episode tonight, but we should probably just go over because we're getting towards the end of the season. So we should probably just do like kind of where we are in the standings right now.
Okay.
So we are 60 games played. So we got 22 left, and with the win over Tampa Bay tonight, we're 10 points out of that final wild card spot, which is Tampa Bay. Uh, there is 2 games in hand, so you can't assume wins. Certainly not with the Sabres. But if you do assume 2 wins, you're 6 points out of it right now.
Oh my God, dude, that's so annoying. Imagine if they had a pulse. Imagine if they had a pulse in October and November.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's gonna take a hell of a run
You know
to
who's gonna hate
to do
this?
it.
You know who's gonna hate this? Is
Oh,
Eric.
Eric's gonna hate it for
Because
sure.
he texted me today. He was like, I love the negativity in your last podcast.
That's so funny. That is so funny. I mean, but you got to give them their props when they're playing good. Well, not again. Like it hasn't like not like it's been the best hockey. I think they played fine against Columbus since we recorded last, and then the game against Carolina was great. But it's still been tough sledding. But the problem is you got again. So you're assumed 6 points out, but also you got Pittsburgh in front of you, who has 4 games in hand. Washington's in front of you, who's got 2 games in hand, and then
The Devils.
the Devils and the Islanders both have a game in hand. So
Dude,
again,
we played
you got to
Detroit.
leapfrog a lot of teams on top of winning a shit ton of games.
We played Detroit 3 times to end the season. In the middle of March twice, and then in April. Those games,
Yes.
if we did manage to like somehow claw our way back in, those would be the games where it's like these are huge.
Yeah, you got Detroit 3 more times, and then I think we have Tampa Bay 1 more game as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, it's not a non-zero chance. But what do you think?
I
So
got a question
let's
for you after your question for me.
yeah. So my question here is: the Sabres have realistically, I'm probably not going to count the game on March 7th because that's only one day before the trade deadline. But the Sabres have their next 3 games, tough opponents. But you got the Golden Knights coming to town on Saturday. This could be like our little look ahead too, I guess. But you got the Golden Knights coming to town on Saturday. So you have a back to back. So then on Sunday you have the Jets coming to town, and then you go to Toronto on Wednesday, and that game's on TNT. I'm just saying theoretically, if they happen to win all 3 of those games against those good opponents, you have to think. I mean, Adams already said he's not making deals for the future. He's looking to add for now. But if they do by chance win those 3 games, what do you think Adams does? Like, do you think he makes a big move?
No, I think he still should trade Oposo, Gergensen, and Johnson no matter what. You have to.
Well, yeah, but do you think he would do something else if they
There's
rifle
no.
off a few big wins?
I mean, there really isn't anything to be done right now, like going after a big name. Those moves kind of like happen in the summer, like big moves. So I don't think there's like anything coming that could possibly help us. You know, maybe they trade for a guy like a Greenway where like he has term on his deal, and it's like this is a piece that's going to be here for the end of the season and for like the next season or two. But there's really nothing out there that's like, holy shit, the Sabres got like this player. Like, wow, that's incredible. You know, and I
Why
even if
not?
they win, it just won't. Trust it. Just I don't think it'll happen. But
Brandon Bean would do
if
it.
we if we did win the next three, I do not want it to fool Kevin Adams into thinking he has to hold on to these guys with expiring contracts. Like, get these old guys out of the room.
Oh
Like,
no, no, no.
it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
over. Like, just let him go. Let him just kiss him on the forehead and say goodbye.
As much as I appreciate like Kyle Poso and what he's meant to the org, like I would love to just see how the team does with just them gone. Like just
Me
have
too.
it be the young
Me
guys,
too.
and because then it comes down to, okay, who's going to be the young guy that steps up? And I think it'd be a Darlene. Like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take over this locker room now, and we're gonna do things our way. Like, I don't know, it'd be an interesting thing. But yeah, okay. So if no big thing's gonna get done, if I'd be totally fine with, again, trading those old pieces and just kind of seeing what your young guys can do. Maybe calling a few guys up, but you never know. I mean, Brandon Bean. I mean, he went and got Rasul Douglas, and that was good. Just Kevin Adams, just go and get a piece like
It
that
just
and just
doesn't
make it
happen.
work.
It doesn't
Just
happen in hockey
yeah.
like that. I wish it did, but it just doesn't.
But why couldn't it be a Greenway? Like a Greenway that like
I
just
know.
works out, like just comes here and just works out for like 20 games. You never know.
It'd be fun. I agree, but it just I'm minus. I'm like a minus 5,000% chance that it's gonna happen. Also, we have one more episode before the deadline. I can't wait to see what kind of shit we're talking about next Wednesday. It's gonna be insane.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's gonna be fun now that we're kind of rolling with the show here. Yeah, to see what happens, because the around the league stuff's always fun, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of interesting things that could that could go down, but we can do just real quick Amherst here before we head out. Amherst are in a bit of a slide.
Yeah, this is just what they do, honestly.
Yeah,
They like fuck around for a whole month and then they come back and squeak into the playoffs and somehow they're a playoff demon. So I'm not concerned about the Amherst, to be honest with you.
well, I just would hope that they're, as much as they're like probably wanting to watch the Sabres, I just hope they're watching teams that can actually score and learning from them, because they are also not scoring right now, and they have 2 goals or less in each of their last 5 games. And since we talked last week, they're 0-2-1, down to fifth in the North Division. They were in third. So Seth Appert, just stop watching Sabres games, watch some other teams that can score, and tell your guys, listen, guys, you're playing the right way. Just don't get bored, okay? Do not get bored playing the right
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Honestly, though, if we're talking trade deadline, I could see them like swinging a deal for like somebody in the AHL to help out the Amherst for the playoffs.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
thing
I
probably
hope they get
happens
it.
more
They're
regularly. Like, you know,
Yeah, and down to fifth in the North. I mean, if you look, like they don't have games in hand, so they're like, that's a true fifth standing, but they're only like 2 points out of third. So like
well,
it's
they've been
still
playing
like,
like shit. They've been horrible this
oh
whole
yeah,
month. Like,
they've been,
the only reason they were getting winning games was because Levi was unbelievable.
yeah. But if you look
So,
at
but
like
I
their
I
last
could see
five
them turning
games,
around.
it's literally like 1 goal, 1 goal, 2 goal, two goal,
Yeah,
1 goal.
they
Like
were
it's
also
just
missing Kulik for a while too. He was injured. So and he's back now, so that helps. But
yeah.
yeah, I could see them totally like just suddenly starting to like string together like 2 wins here, overtime loss, then another 2 wins here. Like I could see them like going on a little run. That's just kind of what they do. They fuck around for like a full month and then they come back and make the playoffs and have a little run. That's just what they do the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so, because it was really fun watching them last year, and I'd love to see Levi just get like a ton of chances in net in the Calder Cup playoffs. Like I
Yeah.
will definitely be watching that. But all right, so that's gonna do it for today. So again, a little bit more positive news this week on the show. We'll see what happens over the next week. As we mentioned earlier, the Sabres have a tough few games. Jack Eichel has returned to skating, so we'll see if he makes his return to the ice in Buffalo on Saturday. That would be poetic if he does. We already beat them once this year, but man, I'd love to beat them twice and make sure we beat them on home ice this time, because then he got a hat trick against us last year at
He
home, I
did.
think.
Yeah, he did. He rubbed it in our faces, and then he did the. Remember that one? Was it that game where he was like, "Oh, they really miss me, huh?" Or whatever he fucking said.
No, no, no.
Little
That was
prick.
that
Was that
that
2 years ago?
that was the first game ever. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, little prick. I can't
yeah.
stand that guy.
Yeah. So we'll see if he comes back. I kind of want him to, just to see. Like, I don't know. What time is that game at? What time is that game?
Is it if it's at home? It's at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, but sometimes Saturday games get
Oh,
funky.
you're right.
So
I think it's still 7 though. I think it's not. I think it's at night.
I gotta see what we're doing. Maybe we should go to that game. That would be fun.
Dude, I'd go. I haven't done it honestly. We would. Oh, you know what? I can't because I have a Jack and Jill. Shout out my cousin Sarah and her to be
Nice.
husband, her fiance Ryan. Like shout out to you guys. I know you're not going to listen because I literally don't think that you know that I have a podcast. But shout out to you and your Jack and Jill. It should be a fun time. I'll probably get fucked up, so it'll be a
All
good
right.
time.
All right. So hopefully the Sabres can get a win against Eichel. Yeah, who knows? I might get some tickets to that game. We'll see. It'd be fun. It would be fun to boo Eichel.
I do want
And
to go to the Detroit game coming up though, the one before the deadline. I definitely want to go.
no, it's not. It's after the deadline.
Oh, it's after.
It's on the
Fuck.
12th. It's on the 12th.
All right. Well, I kind of want to go to that game anyway, just because I wanna boo that team.
All right, dude. Just real quick before we sign off, this is because we mentioned the Sabres have a brutal schedule. This is their stretch of games, so it's either gonna it's
Dude,
either gonna
I
be
know.
good or
Trust
really
me.
bad. All right, this is like the next 10 games: Vegas, Winnipeg, Toronto, Nashville, Edmonton, Detroit, Islanders, Detroit, Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton.
Oh
Oh
my
my god,
God.
that is
Well,
just a bear of a schedule.
how many of those are at home?
Five.
Well, that's 5 losses. So,
Five at home,
those,
and five of those. It's pretty much an even split with
so you're
those.
telling me they're going to go 3-7, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well,
The home games are Vegas, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Detroit, and Islanders. So
oh my God, I could see them losing. I could see them losing all of those games, but the Islanders one will be a 2-1 loss where we record 13 shots on goal.
do you think they'll boo that will boo Patrick Kane?
Fuck yeah, we should. We
I
should boo
know,
that
I know. I
fucker.
don't I don't think they will, but I would
He
love that. I would love that.
he didn't choose us,
Yeah. Yeah, I would love nothing more than that, because I think it might rattle him a little bit too.
and
Well,
it's
maybe
fun.
not. He's not like mentally weak like Eichel, but
Booing guys is fun. It's part of sports.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so that's why the Sabres are
Dude,
bitches for being booed. Like, whatever.
I'll tell you what. We gotta end this shit because I'm getting delirious.
That's what you had to tell me. You didn't have. I thought you had some Sabre stuff. You just.
No, no,
All
I'm
right.
sick of this. Even though they won tonight, I'm still mad at them.
All right. Well, yeah. This is good. A nice little hour episode for us, and I can get to bed by 11, which is great. So, all right, everybody, you know what to do. If you are still listening, follow us on Twitter at Saber Spotlight. Rate, review the show, tell your friends. Listen on Apple, Spotify. We're now on YouTube. Any questions or feedback for the show can be sent to the email address, and we will see everybody next week. Later.
Bye, everyone.